Hi guys, welcome to my 5th Flosstube video, and happy Boxing Day, or the day after Christmas, or happy Stitching Day, or whatever you happen to call it. Happy day. I hope that you all had a fantastic holiday, whichever holiday you celebrated or happen to be celebrating. I hope that you got lots of good stitchy stuff and had some time to yourself to relax and do some actual stitching during this break. If you're fortunate and you're on winter break from school, or you are on vacation, or you just happen to take the time off for this particular double holiday, Christmas and New Year's, or the holiday and New Year's, then I hope you're planning to relax and enjoy yourself and have fun. I am in a new location again, as you can probably tell by the color of the desk, since it's black and not white this time. I am actually in my craft room today, since I'm starting to get it organized after, only 3 years of living here. So if you hear anything weird or strange things happen, that's because I'm not normally in here. My cats are going to wander in and out and make noise like the creaking of the door right now, because they are so excited that the door is open and they can come in here and meow. So if you hear a lot of meowing, please excuse my cats. They're cute, but they're really curious. Can you stop, please? I know you're saying hello to everybody, but they can't see you. Anyway, I'll insert pictures of my cats here. The one who's meowing and squeaking is the big fat gray one. His name is Dusty. We call him the Mike Tyson of the cat world. He's huge and round, and he has a very high-pitched squeaky voice, as you can hear. So, stop. Forgive me. Anyway, this is my craft room. At some point, I will probably take pictures of it when it's actually finished, so you guys can see what it actually looks like. Right now, it's kind of a mess, so I think I will stick to my hands, which, as you can see, look, it's a new ring. This was a Christmas present from my mother. It's not a snake, so those of you who are bothered by snakes, ta-da! It's just turquoise and silver, and I think it's pretty. And to answer the question, tangentially, of those who asked on my last video, the snakes that we breed are primarily corn snakes. We do also have ball pythons and Kenyan sand boas. Enough talk about snakes. I will perhaps do a video, as it was suggested, at some point in the future where you guys can meet all of my snakes if you're interested, and if not, you can happily avoid them. So, I have blabbled a little bit. I'm trying to avoid doing that too much, because I know you guys are here for stitching, and it doesn't really help for me to talk about random things. Also, if I'm talking quietly today, I apologize. My husband is home today. He's still asleep, but he is home, and so if he wakes up, I don't want him to wander in here wondering what the heck is going on. And we may have a feline visitor if Dusty decides that he's going to jump up on the desk. So, we'll see. If I could turn the camera easily, I would show you. He's... Anyway, enough about the cats. If he shows up, he shows up. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Sorry for the pause there. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is, if you recall on my last video, I mentioned that I was being tempted by all sorts of SALS stitch-alongs, which I've gotten some commiseration and some understanding from other people, and apparently I'm not alone, that the SALS are really tempting. And if you listen to some of our other Flosstube friends, it seems like there are a lot more of them. They've become very popular, and lots of people are doing them now and offering them and managing to find ways to make them all incredibly tempting. I think it was Danielle Stitcherista who mentioned that in one of her latest videos. And by the way, Danielle, if you happen to watch this video, I'm so glad that your surgery is over and done with. Hopefully, I know you still have treatment to go through, but hopefully there won't be any more surgeries, and you can at least have that in the rear view and not have to worry about it anymore. Keep on keeping on. You know we all support you and we love you, and you can do it. Anyway, stitch-alongs. So I mentioned that there were several that had tempted me, and you may have guessed by the fact that I talked about them that I've been convinced to do them, to put them on their own sort of separate list, their own sort of separate rotation, and get through them as I get through them. I'm not going to hold myself to any kind of deadlines on them. I know that they are monthly, and so you're supposed to finish each piece in the month that it comes out so that you can be ready to move on to the next, but I'm not going to blame myself if I can't do that. So, in addition to the stitch-alongs that I mentioned last time, there are a couple more that I wanted to mention to you and just share the news, share the joy, see how many people I can infect. I don't know. So the first one is the Snowflower Diaries, which is a series that was running this year. So it was run through the year 2016. And it's probably something that's good for those of you who are fans of the more primitive designs. It's animals, and they're very cute. Animals and months, and it's charted in several different languages, actually. So if English is not your first language or is not the language that you prefer to stitch in, there are several different languages that it's been translated into. I will post a link to the group in the notes below. I will try to find a picture to insert of the whole thing to insert here. And if you're interested, you can just join the group and you can get the patterns. They're individual, so you can stitch them individually. You can stitch them all together. It's a cute pattern. And it's free. It's 100% free. The other one that I heard about, came across, was the Faces of Joan Elliott stitch-along, which I had not heard about, and I'm kind of surprised since I'm a big Joan Elliott fan. But that is a mystery SAL. I will insert a picture of that here. And tell you that it just makes my fingers itch to do it. So I'm really looking forward to getting involved in that, to being able to find that pattern. That is a group on Facebook that you must be invited to join. It's a secret group. If you are interested in that, you can message me on Facebook, or message me. It's easier to message me here because sometimes people can't find me on Facebook. Message me here and I will see what I can do about getting you added. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, so don't hold me to the fact that I can get you added, but I will do my best. Anyway, so that is 6 stitch-alongs that I'm aware of at the moment. I'm not doing all 6. There's a limit even for me for stitch-alongs, and like I said, I have to sort of monitor how many things I'm stitching at once, because I will get distracted and I won't finish anything. Speaking of which, I actually have finished objects to show you. Yay! Celebration hands. I did some serious work on stitching to try to finish things for Christmas because, as you know, some of the things I was making were Christmas presents. The first of which was my mother's Hope Cardinal. Now, if you recall, I've always had trouble finding ways to stick the picture of the cardinal in here because I lost the pattern piece, or the cover photo for the pattern. I think I've solved that problem. So I will show you a picture of what it looked like last time you saw it. And unfortunately, because it is a Christmas present and it had to be sent across country, I don't have the actual object to show you, but I will insert a picture of how it finished up here. Yay! No, I'm not a fan of the backstitching style on this. The backstitching was done in long pieces as opposed to square by square, which I think looks better and stays in place better. So these long stretches of backstitching sort of make me nervous, but it'll be treated gently. My mom's really good about treating things nicely, and I'm pleased with overall how it turned out. The pattern was part of a kit. It was a Dimensions kit. And I have decided that if there is interest, I will give that pattern away. I'm not going to give you floss. There are no conversions on the sheet that I'm aware of. Now, I know that there are conversion sheets between Dimensions Floss and DMC out there on the internet somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. I will see if I can find some actually and link them possibly in the show notes. But there is no conversion listed on the pattern, so I can't tell you exactly what colors you'll have to use. You'll have to figure that out on your own. But I'm happy to send the pattern on if anybody is interested in stitching that. I'm not going to stitch it again. I will send the pattern anywhere, and I will probably even send you a little square of felt for the backing, because the kit came with a square of felt, and why not? I have felt, I make felt toys, so why not send some along? Let me go ahead and do the disclaimers here. You will have to be at least 18 years of age in order to participate. If you are not 18 years of age, I will need to have your parents contact me and let me know that it's okay for you to give out your mailing address so I can send the pattern to you if you want it. But if you're interested, just go ahead and mention in the comments. Let's not make it too blatant. Say something about cardinals. I like cardinals. Cardinals are my favorite bird. Something like that. And I'll know you're interested and I will add you to the list. I will keep this open until January 8th, which is the day before my next podcast. And on my next podcast, I will figure out who I'm sending the pattern to and contact them and get that all taken care of. Sound good? Sounds good. The second piece that I finished for Christmas was my Let's Garden by Ursula Michael, which was a gift for my aunt. I will insert two pictures. One of what it looked like last time you saw it, and what it looked like all finished and framed up. Now this is a piece that I framed myself, so I went out and found the frame and mat relatively cheaply and put it all together. I pinned it on foam core board, and as many of you have discovered, a lot of the frames that we can find are not thick enough for foam core and the mat and the piece and the back on the back of the frame, so I ended up having to tape it in place, which is not the most graceful solution, but it worked, and I found black duct tape so the back of the picture doesn't look completely strange with, big silver strips of duct tape on it. So I think it turned out pretty nicely. We will see what my aunt thinks, as she has not gotten the package yet, but soon she will get it, and hopefully she'll enjoy it and let me know. Sorry about that, had to pause for a second to get things in order over here. Again, I'm filming in a new place, and so it's a little discombobulated. So anyway, those are the two things that I finished so far this year. I'm hoping that I might be able to finish one more thing, and it's the first thing on my list of whips. It is the snowman, or rather Santa snow globe that I've showed you before. I will insert a picture of what it looked like before here. And this is where we are now. You can see that I've filled in more of the base. I've got part of the bike done in here. You can see his little mousy friend is filled in at least, even though it's not backstitched, so you can't really tell what he is yet. But there's a basket and the wheels, obviously. So I'm hoping that one more session with this ought to finish him up. Which means I need to fill in this part, obviously, and then do all the backstitching, and he ought to be done. Maybe by the end of the year. Not sure about that, but maybe. We'll see. Hopefully, at the very least, by the early beginning of 2017. But I'm hopeful that I can get this done before the end of 2016. Seems like that would be a nice way to finish out the year. The next piece is, dun dun dun, the tablecloth. You guys have all heard my rambling and stories about the tablecloth, so I won't do it again. I say that every time and then I do it again, but I won't do it again. I will just insert a picture of what the tablecloth, the bird tablecloth I'm doing for my mother, looked like last time you saw it. And then this is what it looks like this time. It's so big. It's difficult to take pictures and things like that of this thing because it's big. But as you can see, there's the first bird in the center, and then you've seen this bird. So here we go with bird number 3. Obviously not completed, though another session on this one and I'll probably have this side of the tablecloth done, and then I can move on to side number 2. I wanted to do a shout out to Glee, to Gliza. Her YouTube channel is Gliza. Or sorry, I think it's Made with Glee. I don't remember exactly, but I will link it in the notes. Who surprised the heck out of me by doing a shout out to me on her last video and mentioning that she had a big project that had repeating motifs that she had struggled to get through, and that she was going to pull it back out and work on it in solidarity, in support, or, you know, just have somebody to cheer her on and to cheer me on as I get this thing done. So, hi Gliza, or hi Glee. Thank you for the shout out. I seriously laughed out loud for a good 5 minutes when I saw you do that. Surprised me, like I said, but I totally laughed. And I feel very encouraged. So, like I said in the notes, or in my comment to you, we can do this. We got it. We can finish these. If there's anybody else out there who has a big project that has repeating motifs or things that, or something that just feels enormous and like you're never going to get it done, or you're not looking forward to working on it, or it feels tedious, whatever, you are welcome to, at least in my opinion, you are welcome to join me in the tedium of stitching whatever that project is, and to be part of the cheer squad so we can all get these done and get them to their intended recipients, whether that's yourself or somebody else, and move on with our lives. I mean, as many of you have said, this really is, it's a cute pattern. The birds are cute. And when I look at the finished piece, I actually really like it. Yeah, you know, just not looking forward to doing all of that stitching. The next piece in my rotation is the dragon knot, and I'm just going to call her Stephanie Law because I've seen people do that, and that makes me feel better. No name butchering required. So it's the Dragon Knot Revised by Stephanie Law, and it's a piece I'm doing for my husband. I will insert a picture of what the actual pattern will look like when it's finished here. And my cat is talking again, so apologies. And a picture of what it looked like the last time you saw it here. And this is where we are now. Now again, obviously this is just a partial page, but this piece right here is completely finished. Yay! Which means I am set up for the first challenge, or first Heaven and Earth challenge of 2017 is to complete a full page. So I am set up now and ready to go to do another full page on this. I'm not exactly sure where that's going to be, or whether, sorry, bumped the phone, or where that's going to be, or how it's going to be attached to this little piece, but at least I'm ready to go. You can kind of see, I can't really get it closer than that, but you can kind of see, this is actually a leg, the outer curve of a leg. This is a wing here, and there's a dragon body in the middle. So you can see the pieces, but it's not going to make much sense until the rest of it's filled in, obviously. The next piece on my rotation was Death by Cross Stitch, one of my favorite pieces to work on, absolute favorite pieces to work on right now. So I will insert a picture of where we were last time you saw this. And here is where we are now. Again, with the way my setup is, I have to insert things here kind of wonky, so I apologize for the crooked orientation. And there's my cat. That's my cat. the big gray foot in the background. That's Dusty. So he's been in here trying to figure out how to get up, and so now he's figured it out. Yay, Dusty. Anyway, cat interruption aside, this is where we are now with Death by Cross Stitch. I had started the 4th row last time, obviously from the picture. I had started the 4th row, so obviously I've worked more through this. This is all the first page. There are 4 pages across and 4 pages down, so I still have quite a bit to go, but I am enjoying this so much and loving watching the pattern and motifs come out as I stitch along. And I just dropped my show notes. Hang on one second. My cat is sort of a scaredy cat, so on top of shedding all over everything, he jumps at every tiny little noise. So if you see him freak out and run across the desk, that's just because he's being a goofball. So the next piece in my rotation, and I said earlier, that I was probably just going to have to put these on their own little rotation because I'm addicted to too many things and Dusty. And yeah, if I want to stick to my 8 projects, then the SALs are going to have to be on their own list. But regardless, sorry, he's just going to be a goofball and entertain you with his dancing tail. So the next piece is the Lakeside Fantasy Sampler, which is the stitch along for this year. December is a fairy, and I will show you a picture of what I had gotten done, which was basically the frame last time. And then, ta-da, the cat's gonna disappear. Where I am this episode. So again, this is a fairy who's holding a bird and a present. I haven't finished her, as you can see, but I might be able to finish her by the end of the month, but in time for the January pattern to come out. If not, that's okay. I will just continue to stitch and play catch up if I have to. But this is where I am for the Lakeside Fantasy Sampler with the December Fairy. The next piece was the Hufflepuff crest, house crest, that I am making for a friend of mine. I will insert a picture of where that was last time you saw it, which was not very far along. And this is where we are now. Again, this is kind of hard to see in its entirety, and again, I can't get the whole thing in. There's a tiny little bit up at the top that you can't really see. So there you go. So, but it's a lot of gray right now. It's shades of gray. There is a armored helmet that sits at the top of the crest, which is what this is. And then, obviously, the badger for Hufflepuff is here. You can kind of tell that it's a badger. But this is 3 shades of gray, and I think there's another shade of gray in there. So, and I switched out the needle minder because I felt that the owl was more appropriate, so we have an owl needle minder on there now. Again, I make my own needle minders, that's not from anybody in particular. But there we are. The Hufflepuff from, oh gosh, what's the Stitchering? Stitchering is where I got this pattern. And look, you can see more of my cat because he's decided to lay down. Dusty, put your head down so they can see your face. Oh look, my big goofy gray cat. He's a sweetie. And last but not least, in my current rotation, is a new project that you guys haven't seen before because I just started it. I was feeling itchy and anxious about starting new things and getting things done a few days ago, and so I figured since this is supposed to be done in January, and who knows if it will be, but it's supposed to be, I would go ahead and get started. I've talked about this. I've showed you the flyer or the leaflet before. And I've talked about the fact that I wanted to do it. But this is the January pattern. Stop. This is the January pattern by the Cricut Collection. So that's what the finished object or finished project is supposed to look like. And again, this is on a piece of 28 count. Sorry, I haven't been telling you fabrics or anything because I just forget to do it. I apologize. I'll try to be better about that. But again, this is a 28 count piece of opalescent Lugana that I dyed myself in this blue, violet, and white color. And you can actually see the sparkle, which is pretty nice. But this is as far as I got. This is the center motif, the U in January. And it's gray on blue-violet, so it's not going to stand out real well. But that's what I've gotten so far on my January project. And those are my works in progress. I do have a little Mill Hill kit, and what did I do with him? I brought him in, and I have no idea where I put him. He's hidden somewhere. Oh no, here he is. So, I want to say it's Cross Stitch Finish Line, but I probably have the wrong group, so I apologize for that. Does a monthly Mill Hill stitch along, and I do bead. I like to bead, so I figured I would join in. Now this is a project that will probably this is a project that will probably only get worked on once a month during that stitch along. So it's not going to have much progress, and I'm not going to show it in every episode because if I'm not stitching on it, what's the point? But this is the kit that I have from the Winter Holiday Collection, obviously, the Winter Bird. And as an example of why I'm not going to show you all the time, this is where I was last time, or what I did on the last Stitch Your Mill Hill Kit day. So I did a tiny amount of stitching, and actually I had to frog this out twice, because apparently I cannot count perforated paper, or I was distracted or something, whatever the case is. Dusty's getting comfortable, and that's what I got done. So, again, you will not see this every time, because I'm not going to work on it all the time, but hopefully next time you see it, it's a little more filled in. As far as haul goes this time, I don't have a lot. I have a couple of things, one of which is new, and one of which is new in the sense that you haven't seen it before because I keep forgetting to talk about it. But the first thing is that I got a leaflet from Amazon, from a third-party seller, that is Carousel Horses, Watercolors, and Counted Cross Stitch by K. Jongsma. And it's, let me see, now that Dusty is laying down, I have even less space, but this is one of the horses. This is Kim's because I was watching Kelly Bell Stitches on Flosstube, and she mentioned the Carousel Horses, I think it's Carousel Horses for All Seasons by Donna Cooler, which is a book that I had, and I think I still have somewhere, though I'm not exactly sure where, but every time I see that book, it reminds me of the Carousel Horses, and the fact that I love Carousel Horses. My husband also likes Carousel Horses, and so it's something that I would like to and should really probably stitch more of. So I found this leaflet, and I bought it because it's different. It's not Carousel Horses that I've seen before. This is the Palomino. Let me see if I can... it's on the back. Okay. I was going to say, see if I can show you the other horses without showing you pattern, but... So there's the Dapple Gray, and then there's the Roan. There's only 3, as there are in some of the older leaflets, and it's not a standard leaflet in that it's, stapled on the side, and then you can flip pages and see things. This is one of those ginormous patterns that folds out. So I'm going to have to, when I actually get around to working on these, I'm going to have to photocopy them because I cannot work from patterns that large. But again, Carousel Horses by K. Jongsma was relatively cheap on Amazon, and this whole idea of looking for patterns on Amazon, used patterns, yeah, that's super dangerous. I need to not do that a lot. Oh, and you get to be witness to Dusty's bathing time. Sorry guys, I would push him off the desk, but he's just going to come back and then we're going to have a war over who has the desk, so. The other thing, this is the one that I keep forgetting to tell you that I have, and actually let me just take the cover out of the packaging because you don't need to see plastic and glare and that kind of thing, but I keep forgetting to say that I actually have a chatelaine pattern. This is the Japanese garden mandala, and it looks like that, with the torii, the gate in the center, and then the motifs around the edge, and then, yeah. Anyway, that's what the finished thing looks like. This was partially a plan for something to make for my husband again, because he's very interested in visiting Japan and going to see Japan. He likes Asian art, so also it's a reminder to me of the time, the time that I spent in Japan. I went to Japan for a summer between my junior and senior years of high school. So I have no idea when this is going to get started. Chatelaine, I know, are very complicated and very expensive to kit up. So when this will get started, well, can't tell you. No idea. But I discovered the pattern in the back of my pattern drawer and figured I would tell you I had it, because I keep forgetting to do that. So there you go. So I think with all the rambling about the cat and new spaces and things like that, that I've probably talked long enough. So I should let you go. Let me just pet the cat so you can watch the soothing... How silly. Anyway. Yeah, like I was saying, I think I should probably go ahead and wrap up since I rambled a little bit. As a bonus, if you have made it this far into the video and you've put up with me and the cat and all of the weirdness associated with this video, I figured, since people have asked, and I don't, obviously, my videos are all about the hands and don't have anything to do with you being able to see me, I figured I would go ahead and put in a picture of me. This is a picture of me from a couple of years ago at Halloween. It is a cosplay picture. I am a big fan of Firefly. The Joss Whedon series was on Fox for one season. It was followed up by Serenity, the movie. So if you are a sci-fi fan, if you are a sci-fi geek like me, and you are a fan of the show, you're aware of the show, this is cosplay from that show. If you're not, but you do like science fiction, and you do like Joss Whedon things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel and Dollhouse and things like that, you should really check out Firefly. You should really do it, because it's a great show. Anyway, my favorite character is Zoe, and I cosplay Zoe, and have often. So here is a picture of me, not a great picture, but a picture of me cosplaying as Zoe Washburn from Firefly. Ta-da! Look, I exist. I have a face. I am a real person and not just a pair of talking hands. Anyway, before the video is further taken over by the cat and the lovely dulcet sounds of spit as he grooms himself, I will go. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for leaving comments and subscribing and liking the video. Please continue to do so. Please continue to ask questions if you have questions. Make requests if you have requests. Don't forget about the pattern giveaway. If you're interested in the cardinal, say something about cardinals in your comment, and I will add you to the list, and I will pick somebody in my next video, which should be January 9th. So the pattern is available to sign up until January 8th. Until then, have great stitching, have a lot of fun with your projects and getting them either finished or started, or jumping into the stitch-along game with me, whatever makes you happy. I hope that you are happy and healthy and that you and your family are all well, and I will see you again, hopefully without the cat, next time. Bye-bye.